Hello, this is Catherine. This is Taking Tea with Catherine. This is Lemon Lavender Lane, which is a common tea on this channel. Nice, refreshing, relaxing tea from Celestial Seasonings. Just felt like it. And also has the word lemon in it. One of the books I'm going to talk about has lemons in the title. And so it's a Friday Reads. I thought I'd do, kind of thinking, should I do Friday Reads or should I do, other people do like weekly reads or recent reads or whatever. I don't think it matters. But Friday Reads just sounds kind of nice. I'm also going to do a library haul because, surprise, surprise, I checked out more library books because it's not like I don't have enough books to read. On top of books that were held for me being available all at once, the library systems have opened up for browsing. Somewhat limited, but still enough for me to have picked up a bunch of stuff too, because why not? But anyway, at least I finished one book that I can bring back to the library, and that is a mystery book. Didn't have it in time for Tea and Mystery, but that's okay. Oranges and Lemons by Christopher Fowler. It is the latest in the Peculiar Crimes Unit. Sorry, I got hair in my face. Bryant and May. I wanted to read this in the spring, because it has that spring look about it, but I didn't get a chance to. So, this is a series that's going on forever. It follows mainly two detectives that have been basically partners for a very long time. Not sure exactly how old they're supposed to be because what they said they were at one point may be false. Who knows? This takes place around 2019. The unit has been together for a long time. They just investigate all kinds of peculiar crimes. And Arthur Bryant is the one who has all kinds of knowledge of London and folk tales and all kinds of obscure things that somehow seem to tie in with every case. Like, everybody thinks he's always a little weird. Why are you going after this again? Why does it always have to be about this? And then it always somehow fits, though, in some way. He always solves it, but in a slightly, like, this kind of makes sense, but how did you think of that kind of situation? I like that because I like history very much. I enjoy, things behind folktales, things behind nursery rhymes, things behind all kinds of stuff like that. And I love London a lot. New York is my city, but London is like my second home in a way, even though I haven't been there quite some time. But the amount of reading I've done about London in both fictional forms and historical forms, and just staring at London Tube maps and other maps for way too long, I think I could have a really good conversation with Arthur Bryant. But that's not to be because he's fictional, apparently. Or am I the fictional one? I don't know. That is a mystery in itself. There's a ton of other people in the cast. There's a bunch of other people in the unit, and they all do different forms of investigating. Some use computers, some more hands-on. Everybody's useful, but in this case, the previous book, everything was just in shambles because John May had gotten shot, and Arthur Bryant was mad at the reason he got shot, like the circumstances behind it, so he decided to just take off, and then the unit basically got disbanded. It's a lot of traffic today. Sorry, I'm going to get very distracted. I gotta stop having the window open for these videos, but Anyway, atmosphere. So, everybody thinks, okay, we're going to just, either get reassigned or whoever is going to get, be retired or whatever, just go on with their life. But then the strange thing happens in which this kind of government person gets seemingly knocked over, like a fruit cart knocks into him, and all these oranges and lemons are toppled on top of him. And then there is an arson that is really suspicious, with the smell of oranges around about, and other people get killed, and other crazy things happen, and the unit is brought in to come back and, get back together and, just somehow figure things out. Everybody except the cat, who apparently died in between the books, which made me sad because I'm like, I really did not need to read about a reference to a cat that died. But anyway, so it seems that every crime that's committed in this situation goes with the Oranges and Lemons nursery rhyme, the bells of St. Clemens, you owe me farthings, whatever, bells of St. Martin. I read it, but I forgot it. There's a lot of references in here to other things too. 1984 by George Orwell is referenced, which reminds me that I really need to read that. There's a brief reference to And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which is great because I just read that. There is a feeling almost of that in here, maybe because of the nursery rhyme. This particular one, the Oranges and Lemons one, kind of reminds me of my mom because she used to recite it totally wrong tune from what I can tell now when I looked it up, but on YouTube. But it was intriguing, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. It is a book for me, but I don't know if it would be for you. But if you like London, if you like mysteries, if you like kind of weird stuff, but that always has some kind of sense to it, a criminal that's one step ahead of everybody, but, you know, they always seem to figure it out in the end, so that's great. Okay, another book I am reading, I haven't finished it yet. I kind of wanted to finish it already because I'm trying to finish things up, but for a short book, it's taking me a while. I only started like 2 days ago, but anyway, How to Be Human: An Autistic Man's Guide to Life by Jory Fleming with Lyric Winnick. So here's the thing. It is a book about a man who is autistic. He grew up, his mom seemed to take care of him a lot. Like, she did a really good job of, raising him, getting him the support he needed and everything. And through all kinds of obstacles, and he ended up getting a Rhodes Scholarship. So he ended up going to Oxford. And I forgot what he was studying. He also has other health problems too. Cerebral palsy, some other thing in which he has to have a feeding tube for certain nutrients, whatever. So a slightly limited diet. He has like a service dog, but he's living his life. And Lyric Winnick, basically, it's not him just writing down a memoir. She's sort of interviewing him in a way. So like she spent time with him, asking all kinds of questions about the way he thinks, the way he goes about life, which is not what, compared to like a neurotypical way of doing things, is not exactly the same. I've read a number of memoirs by different autistic people. He uses people with autism, but a lot of autistic people like to say autistic people, first person singular, whatever it is. I don't know. But, that's just a choice. And everybody has always said, if you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person. Everyone is a little bit different. There's not just like one type of autism. Okay, this person is nonverbal, therefore that's the kind of autism that is autism. You know what I mean? This person thinks only in pictures, they don't think in words. Therefore that is what autism is. It's not, because everybody I've read who writes a memoir who's autistic has a slightly different experience. There's some things that people have in common, but it's a slightly different experience. So this is just one experience, and it's a good one. It's pretty fascinating to see, how different people view things, and priorities too. Just the way he reacts to things is quite different. He refers to, in the course of his education, there was a manual about how to deal with people in a certain way that was just to do with something that he said, why can't we have more manuals like this? Like it would be really helpful. And so he held on to it. So I thought that is true. Sometimes, it would be great to be told, okay, when people say this, they actually mean this, when people have this expression, it means this, that sort of thing. But anyway, or you should say this and you shouldn't say this. So also, if you may notice that a lot of the books that I'm reading are not within a lot of the challenges that I wanted to participate in. I did read a lot of books within those parameters, and I might finish up some. I enjoy them very much, but I think, everything that happened this month with my cat and everything and dealing with that, I just kind of wanted to veer off into, adjusting into like comfort reading, as it were. Although How to Be Human is not like super comfort reading, but it's not comfort reading. But one of the things I do love is historical fiction, very much. And so I made a lot of progress with Catherine Parr, The Sixth Wife. The Six Tudor Queens series by Alison Weir. This is her last one, obviously, because Catherine Parr was Henry VIII's last wife. Thankfully. No one else needed that favor bestowed upon them. And Catherine Parr is definitely up there with one of my favorites. She's quite interesting. She was, at the age that she married Henry, I think she was the oldest, I think. think so. I think older than Anne Boleyn was. But still, because they don't know the exact age of Anne Boleyn. But, so she had, you know, she was pretty highborn, and not like the highest, but pretty highborn. And her father died pretty young, so when she was a kid, but she had a really nice upbringing, and otherwise, by her, you know, with a lot of extended family, she, you know, she seemed to have a pretty decent situation. But because of their family station, a lot of people in her family had positions at court, so they really got to observe what was happening with the king all this time. And so she really knew kind of what was happening with all the different queens and everything. So can you imagine being that position? And then when you become widowed after he loses his 5th wife to beheading, suddenly the king is like, you seem kind of nice. Yeah. So, but this book takes on what tends to happen with Catherine Parr in the sense that she grew up Catholic with the rest of her family, and her first husband was kind of youngish, and so she lived with his family, and his father, her father-in-law, was more into reform. So he wasn't the nicest person, but he was definitely you know, able to sort of not convince her, but make her think about certain things with regards to religion. Her second husband was a lot older, and he was from the north, and he was more Catholic, but he didn't really want to get involved with all the crises and everything, but he did sort of get slightly wrapped up with the Pilgrimage of Grace, which was a dangerous time in the north because a group of people were unhappy that Catholicism was being kind of overhauled. The monasteries were being destroyed. You know, Thomas Cromwell was doing his thing. And they all, a bunch of them banded together and kind of like almost forced a lot of the people in the north to join their ranks. So even if you didn't want to rebel, if you didn't, you would have been overrun. So it was kind of a hard situation to be in. So that is covered as well. But though she loves her second husband very much, she, you know, she kind of keeps her own counsel about her own thoughts about religion and her, you know, her increasingly reformist kind of Protestant ways of leaning, because it was kind of dangerous to go either way, because you never know what was going to be in favor. So by the time she marries Henry, she not only recently widowed, but she was kind of having an understanding with someone else who she had to give up at that time. But one of her reasonings behind marrying Henry, which I'm sure must have been in there, I don't think she didn't come across to me as someone who had, you know, an inordinate amount of ambition. I think if she could have chosen, she probably would have married Thomas Seymour right away, who was ambitious on his own. The whole Seymour family was quite a bit. Who wasn't in those days, really? But one of her reasonings was that maybe she could be a good balance between the Catholics at court, who wanted things to just go straight back to the old ways, and the Protestants, who wanted to overhaul everything, but maybe in a way that Henry would have not agreed with and would have been too far. So she felt maybe she could sort of balance things a little bit and influence her new husband. So that's where I'm at now. They've recently been married, and it's not gotten to the super dangerous part where the Stephen Gardiner, the bishop, who was very Catholic, was seeking to sort of overturn all the Catholics at court, the Protestants at court, and get them burned for heresy, and Catherine was in some danger. So haven't gotten quite there yet, but I'm almost there, and it's been well done. I read another book about Catherine Parr last year called The Queen's Gambit, no relation to the chess book, but which was a little more overwrought and dramatic. This one is a little less. It's a little more, you know, as you go and covering her whole life and everything. There was like one moment where she has a sort of portent about something, which all of her books kind of do that in her novels, but she didn't go too far with it, so I was okay with that. So I'm enjoying this so far. Okay, and I want to do a whole thing about magazines I've been reading lately, but until I do that, the one magazine I do plan to be reading this weekend, because it just looks amazing, is the one I got recently, the annual British issue of Tea Time. Look at that. Ooh. Okay, I'm a little too excited about that. This is actually the right way to set up a afternoon tea. The sandwiches on the bottom, right? Yeah, pretty sure. Scones in the middle, and the petit four, or desserts, whatever you want to call it, on top. So that's well done, and it says 5 important British tea cities. I've been to a few of them. I looked in here briefly. Tea Time Antiques and Storybook Tea for Children. I think I saw that. Hold on. Don't want to spend too much time. So many recipes in here. I can't wait to get my oven back one day so I can bake. Although it's getting too warm for baking to me now. But look at this. Look how cute this teapot is. Okay, if any of you ever say, well, for some reason I want to buy Catherine, from Taking Tea with Catherine, a nice teapot. I'm just kidding. Don't feel ever motivated to have to get me tea things, but you know, because I do have quite a lot. But but I wouldn't say no. Yes, there's a lot of beautiful pictures in here. Okay. Oh look, William Wordsworth. I really gotta get back into my poets and Pre-Raphaelite project I was working on. So the 5 tea cities in here are Glasgow, which I have been to, but it's been a long time. Harrogate, which I think is in Yorkshire. Correct me if I'm wrong. Manchester, which is also in the north. I haven't been. Liverpool, I've been a long time ago, and Bath, which I was also a long time ago, but not as long as the other ones. So I gotta get back to England. I keep saying any opportunity I get, I will, but I'm not gonna rush either, because we gotta be balanced. I do have a friend coming to visit next month, so if I can't go away can come to me. Okay, so I'm about to go into the library hall, but I want to show you something kind of ridiculous. So when I was reading this book about Agatha Christie, the Mystery of Mrs. Christie, she refers to reading this book called the Leavenworth Case. I guess that's what it's called, by Anna Catherine Green. Is that right? Why does this feel wrong? Anyway, which is, okay, I'll read it. The Leavenworth Case, 1878, subtitled A Lawyer's Story, is an American detective novel and the first novel by Anna Catherine Green. Set in New York City, it concerns the murder of a retired merchant, Horatio Leavenworth, in his New York mansion museum. You never know, nowadays. The popular novel introduced the detective Ebenezer Gryce and was influential in the development of the detective novel. I mean, look at the 1878. That's pre-Sherlock Holmes. In her autobiography, Agatha Christie cited it as... Why can't I read clearly? Cited it as an influence on her own fiction. So that sounds kind of cool, right? But when I saw it online, I thought it was a Penguin paperback. I really did. And then the price went down big time. So I ordered it. And I got this, which is massive. Like, not massive as in thick, but like just so long. And the writing, it's just kind of odd and spaced out like this. It looks like a play. It looks like a dialogue. I guess it can sort of be read like that, but not exactly. So it's a little weird. I'm not happy with that entirely, although it is, because like, how am I going to, I can't put it in with my normal bookshelves or whatever. But it's kind of nice. I don't know. I'm not going to be too brokenhearted about it, because the price was pretty reasonable. It might be good for Victober. So we'll see. Not that I don't have other books. Okay, so on to the library haul. OMG. Yes, I know. It's getting a little late, but hang on. We got more. So this is a book I put on hold. I'm going to do a TBR for June soon. But this is... Oh, what is it called? Is it called Summer of Suspense? Something like that. Kate Howe is doing like a reading group wherein we read a mystery once a month in the summer. And I can always get on board with that. So the book that was chosen, I think for June? Yeah, June. Is Miss Pym Disposes by Josephine Tey. So I took it out of the library, because this is like the one Josephine Tey book I didn't have. So I checked it out. So I'm looking forward to that. I guess you'll see that again on the TBR. This I saw, I think on Katie at Books and Things, I think. And I've read John Mullen's book about Jane Austen, which was amazing. And this is The Artful Dickens, The Tricks and Tricks and Ploys of the Great Novelist. Isn't that a beautiful color? I didn't put this on hold. I saw it with the browse and I flipped out because it's a beautiful color, but I know it's going to have spoilers for Dickens novels, and I haven't read all the Dickens novels, but I think I'm just going to have to deal with that. Just going to have to deal with it if I want to read it. This is Mad and Bad, Real Heroines of the Regency by B. Koch. So that's kind of cool. I don't know. I like the Regency era. I find it interesting, mainly because I'm a big Jane Austen enthusiast. So this could be this could be good to get ready for Jane Austen July, which is in, you guessed it, July. This book just sounds like something that I would like. It's a historical novel that takes place in World War II, which I'm not big on the World War II, but that's okay, because this is The Last Bookshop in London by Madeline Martin. So I started, and so far it seems enjoyable. So when I get back to it, I'm sure it'll be enjoyable. This I just picked up because it had Laurie R. King in here. She writes the Sherlock Holmes and Mary Russell novels, which one is coming out really soon, called Castle Shade, which takes place in Romania. And there was a little bit of a Romanian connection in Oranges and Lemons, so got a lot of Romania happening right now, which I'm fine with. But anyway, this book is called How to Write a Mystery, a handbook from Mystery Writers of America. So I don't know if I'm going to get to this, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. I've always wondered how do people write, how do you plot it? How do you come up with a believable, solvable, but also surprising situation? I don't know how one does that. And I also saw this, I didn't put it on hold, but I had seen it at Barnes & Noble, and I thought, that's kind of cool, because I like The Crown. But didn't feel like buying it, so when I saw it, when I was browsing in the library, I thought, okay, we'll see if I can get to it. If not, that's fine too. This is Elizabeth and Margaret, The Intimate World of the Windsor Sisters by Andrew Morton. So I hope it's not too gossipy, but I don't know. So we'll see, because he also wrote Diana, Her True Story, and I don't know. I always feel bad about Diana and the attention that she gets. I don't think she would want so much. I don't know. So I might try this and see if it's too intimate, if it's too gossipy, too speculative, if it's just enjoyable. Because I just read that book, The Windsor Knot, where the Queen of England helps investigate a murder mystery. So I'm kind of in that mood right now, but I also don't want to get too involved. So we'll see. Again, I just picked it up. Whatever. You know how many books I pick up and just return later on. So anyway, that's my Friday reads for now. Or for this Friday. And let me know if you've read any of these books, if you want to read any of these books, if any of these ones seem like any that should be priorities for me, because if you've been watching long enough, you might know me. And if you haven't, if you're new to this channel, welcome and get to know me. And you never know. Maybe just from what I've been talking about, you may know what might be good. I also, I have other books I wanted to read this weekend too, but we're not going to go crazy. We're already a little over time. I try to keep things under 20, but whatever. Theme for my life. Whatever. So, this is Catherine taking tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea and book-filled Friday. Bye.